So I wanted to give a quick bit of insight following this morning's fabulous online safety digital conference that was run by Westminster Insight and also chaired by the IWF, and that was Susie Hargraves OBE. I think the biggest takeaway really was the amount of work that's been going on around not only the online safety bill but also from schools and educational authorities as to how to work with the growing amount of safety issues for children online. We did hear from Ofcom, who have been put in charge of regulating the online safety law, and it seems like they're going to be working very, very hard to get all the processes and information and guides in place, and which they think will probably be around 2025. So there's a lot to play for at the moment. There's a lot of time to try and get some more feedback in to talk about what really needs to be covered. I do know that it was mentioned that encryption still hasn't really been covered completely, and also the topic of disinformation. So there's quite a few things to be added. I think we'll be watching that with interest, and we'll be trying to make sure that we put out any up-to-date information to everybody as we learn it as well. And we moved on to quite a few insights from the Internet Watch Foundation, from Emma Hardy, who talked about different figures and different types of online reporting they get, abuse reporting. Apparently that now 4 in every 5 reports of online imagery that is abusive is self-generated. So this really means that abusers aren't even in the room, in the house, sometimes in the country, and they're preying on young people online. Whether they're coercing them, whether they're threatening them, they're getting them to share indecent images of themselves online. So this has grown hugely from 2017, where there was none recorded, all the way up to 2022, where there was, oh goodness, I don't think I've even got it on here. Well, 2020 showed 68,000. So then 2022 went off the map, basically off the slide. So it was, yeah, not overly surprising, but it's grown very quickly. Something else I found really interesting, which I may not talk about too much because it might be triggering for people, and people have particular views about this, but we heard from Stop It Now UK, which I hadn't really thought about what they do, or and they work behind the scenes as to people who could become perpetrators or are perpetrators of abuse, to see if they can intervene and where that's happening and why that's happening. And I thought that was really interesting because they did show different types of people with different types of backgrounds. And as I said, I won't go too much into it, but it was just really insightful. And I thought I would imagine quite a very difficult and maybe controversial thing to do, but I think it's impressive. They talked about emergence of AI abuse imagery, which we saw come up. I think there were some pictures coming out from Spain recently, which is really worrying. We have been hearing a fair amount about that. I have been saying a few things about AI versus human. I do not have a big problem with AI. I just think, as with all things, we need to just be wise about what we do and how we use the tech that comes along, and not rush into something where we don't actually know what the repercussions would be. I think a good human head using what AI can offer is good. But yeah, we do have to keep an eye on this because I think there's some worrying trends that come along. I thought was great. NSPCC, our lovely friends, did a great session around obviously online safety, and we take their training. Actually, our team does. They also had 4 youngsters talking about what they think, and I think one of the things that came across, I loved it. One of them said, "It really isn't simple to make yourself safe." I just thought that cut straight through to it. We have all found in the past that trying to set up your privacy settings on certain platforms, especially things like Facebook, are not always easy, and things move around. And that's coming from someone who works in that area. So if children can't, or youngsters can't find it easily, and how to lock down their privacy and have control, that's an issue. So I thought that was very interesting. Safer Internet Day. So we heard from Will Gardner from ChildNet. Now, he actually just shared how Internet Safety Day really does make a difference. And there were some stats that came out from after last year's and how it promoted that people were more confident and youngsters were more confident about what to do if something was worrying them online. So there was an increase in people actually then going away, children having a conversation with a parent or a carer, people speaking to someone about staying safe online. And also talking to trusted adults. So there were quite a few figures there, but I've shared that on another post. So that was really good to see. And apparently their theme for 2024 is on its way, so really stay tuned. I think the whole thing came together over the final session where we talked about mental health and young people and what it could possibly be doing, which again, it's all a bit of an experiment at present, it seems, but there's a lot of research going into it, and I think it's very much about support and empowering children and young people to be able to speak up and say if something worries them, if something's affecting them. So anyway, so that was just fly by the seat of my pants response, but I thought it was brilliant. I'd highly recommend anything for the future Westminster Insight team. It was excellent, and obviously the Internet Watch Foundation was brilliant. So yeah, really good stuff.